Today we're going to be looking at the Sofirn SK30 tactical flashlight, and this one's an absolute beast and probably one of the best value tactical flashlights out there at the moment. And yeah, a few of you have actually asked me to review this one. Sofirn have finally sent me a sample of it, and the SK30 is rated at 3000 lumens. It's got an upgraded SFT 70.2 in there, and I've only seen some of the more expensive flashlight brands using this new upgraded SFT 70. So yeah, it's more efficient than the first generation SFT 70. Has a range in this light of over 400 meters of what I measured anyway. And you've got dual tail switches here on the back, and it's kind of similar to what Phoenix, Nightcore, and Ace Beam use. And you know, you've also got USB-C charging here on the side. It's built pretty tough. As you can see, it's got a nice steel bezel, and it's also got a regulated boost driver. So yeah, that's normally as well found in more expensive flashlights. So in terms of what you get in the box, Sofirn do include a 21700 cell. That's the cell up close, 5000 milliamp hours, and this is the box that it comes in. So there are some accessories as well, but you can check out the specifications and bits and pieces here on the side of the box if you want to pause the video. But yeah, basically you get the usual stuff. You get this lanyard, and I believe there's a spare O-ring in there. You also get this USB-C charging cable, plus you get a holster, which is not so usual with Sofirn. I think this might be the first tactical flashlight they've included the holster for. Correct me if I'm wrong, but great to see Sofirn stepping up their game in so many areas now. So here's a little close-up of the Sofirn SK30, and on the design front, I think Sofirn have made a pretty good choice with a kind of minimalist design, and yeah, it just looks very low key. You've got aluminium alloy build, so 6061 T6 aluminium, hard anodized finish. Feels a little bit slippery, but thankfully, you know, the body has some knurling for grip. Even when your hands are wet or gloved, that's really going to help. And there's also these tritium slots here on the head, which is unusual for Sofirn, but definitely welcome. And the light is rated IPX8 water resistant, so that's actually pretty decent. A lot of lights are normally IPX6 resistant, I guess most EDC flashlights anyway, and 1 meter impact tested too. So yeah, overall it feels like they've built this thing to take some serious abuse, not to mention this steel bezel. And in terms of other features in the lights, and you can see here on the back, you've got those dual tail switches. They're made of rubber, but they feel pretty firm to the touch. There's no give to the rubber, that kind of thing. And you've got this one-way deep carry clip here on the body. It's got a decent sort of rigidity as well, so it's not just going to come off or kind of bend out of place. So it does have a nice, I guess, a higher tensile steel. And you've also got this battery indicator here on the side. Okay, again, very reminiscent of Phoenix. And yeah, it changes from red to green, flashing depending on the battery voltage. And you've also got this USB-C charging port here. It's got this silicone cover. It's going to keep water, dirt out. And yeah, there's also some areas on the tail, forgot to mention, that you can, attach a lanyard. I don't use that myself. And yeah, it does not tail stand, unfortunately, just due to that rubber bumper sticking out. Here's a little peek down the bezel, and you can see that luminous SFT 70.2. It's a new generation LED and brighter and more efficient than the first generation SFT 70. And basically it gives a really crisp, bright hot spots, a ton of spill. This one's rated at 6,000 to 6,500 K according to Sofirn. And yeah, the beam shape definitely leans more towards throw, but you do have a ton of spill as well, just due to that that high output 3000 lumen emitter. And you can see it's paired with that SMO smooth reflector, so that's really going to maximize the range. And yeah, like I mentioned before, you've got this darkened stainless steel bezel, strike bezel. It's going to add extra durability rather than just having a standard aluminium one, which is actually what Phoenix use on a lot of their PD series. All right, so I'm going to go through the UI, just show you how the light is used. So from off, when you just press the tail switch all the way, it basically goes onto memory mode, okay? And another thing you can do is that if you just half press twice like that, you go straight to that 3000 lumen max mode. Doesn't take too much to, I mean, even if you're in a hurry and you just half press like a ton like that, it always goes on to the turbo. And if you press that smaller switch while the light is off, you get the strobe. You have to press and hold to keep it on. Now, while the light is on though, if you press and hold the strobe button, it you kind of have like a constant strobe. It's something I don't really use myself, but otherwise you sort of just press the smaller button to cycle the different modes. So yeah, eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. So when you turn off and turn back on, it memorizes whichever mode you've left on there. So typically I just leave it in turbo so that I know when I activate and press that button all the way, it's going to go straight onto turbo. All right, so here's a test that I ran with the Sofirn SK30 on the 3000 lumen turbo mode, and you can see here you get about 30 seconds of runtime before the light steps down. There's a second step down, as you can see, around the 2-minute mark, and the light is sitting on just under 30% of output. It's also important to mention you can reactivate turbo consecutively. It does get pretty hot though eventually in the head. Here's a second ceiling bounce test that I ran on high, which is 1000 lumens, and you can see ran that test for over 20 minutes and I didn't see any step down at all. That's really impressive that it manages to hold 1000 lumens, for the duration of that test. I know a lot of larger lights that can't even do that. Here are some tests that I ran with my Opal Light Master Pro, and on turbo I measured 422 meters of range. Of course, these are switch on figures, and even on the high mode, 243 meters, which was pretty impressive. You can see here the CRI range from 66 to 67, and CCT ranges from 5,800 to 6,800. So some considerations to keep in mind. The first one is the color temperature might be a bit too cool for some of you. I know some people do prefer those warm colored beams, so this one is definitely like a cool white color, and the beam profile is tailored towards longer range performance too, which is quite impressive given that the bezel size is fairly small. It's almost the same size of the battery tube, and I do prefer this kind of design on tactical EDC flashlights. When you have a larger head, it just feels a bit uncomfortable in the pocket. So yeah, 400 plus meters range with a small bezel like this is really impressive. The second consideration is that this light gets hot when reactivating turbo. So yeah, you'll see later in the beam shots I do complain about that a little bit, but I'm just glad that you can push this light to the limit if you need to. And it's a very powerful LED in there, makes 3000 lumens, so you're gonna get a lot of heat on those higher modes. The third consideration is that these dual switches might require some getting used to, especially switching modes, that kind of thing when the light is on. If you need this light to reliably start on turbo with one press, it might not be ideal because you might accidentally leave it on like a lower mode like this, and it memorizes that one, or maybe you're activating the light and you accidentally press the lower switch, that kind of thing, in a hurry. So yeah, I mean, it's not something that's going to happen all the time. I mean, mostly you might have it on the turbo mode, and I mean, there's very little that can go wrong. The final consideration is that this crenulated bezel, while adds a ton of durability and yeah, just makes the light look a lot better in my opinion, might also be an issue at some security checkpoints. Overall, the Sofirn SK30 is one of the best value high performance tactical / EDC lights that I've reviewed this year, and it's like a better value, somewhat upgraded version of the Phoenix PD36R Pro that I reviewed previously on the channel. And I'm just so impressed at how much flashlight you get at this price point with Sofirn. They just keep increasing the value of their flashlights, for what you pay anyway. I mean, this thing outperforms a lot of more expensive flashlights that I own. So yeah, if you want a long range flashlight that delivers a heap of light for emergencies and gives you multiple mode options, the creature comforts, so things like that, USB-C charging, and still feels like it was built for business, I think the SK30 is a winner. But what do you guys think of the Sofirn SK30? Was it what you expected? Do you feel the same? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you have questions as well, I will get back to you. Just comment below. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, do me a favor and click the like button and share the video with someone who might be interested. It just helps me to get my channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Sofirn SK30, and this is on the highest mode here, just ramping up through the different modes. So you got eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. Wow, that's a solid beam, really. You got a huge hotspot and a ton of spill. The spill starts maybe, maybe like seven or so feet in front of me, or what would that be? I don't know, 200 plus centimeters in front of me, 2 meters in front of me. If you're in Australia, God, I don't know why I'm referencing feet, but anyway, this is the turbo. And now the cool thing is that the high mode, which is this mode here, I tested it for 20 plus minutes and it didn't step down. So it's good that you've got a nice sustainable 1000 lumen mode, and still relatively throwy, as you can see. Turbo, you get 30 seconds before step down, and you can also just get it to memorize turbo like that. Okay, of course, if you're on another mode like an eco or something like that here, okay, and you double press, it actually from off, if double press or double half press, you get the shortcut to turbo. And the second smaller button gives you an access to strobe, so one step strobe as well while the light is off. So it's a very simple UI. I mean, it's pretty much identical to, and reminds me very much of the Phoenix lights, the PD36R, for example. I'll go for a little walk. And I've also got my Convoy S8 with the SFT25R here, and I want to just compare it to the Sofirn SK30 to the right. So, I mean, this is given that, it has stepped down. It's fairly hot as well. I do find this with Phoenix lights with this similar sort of configuration, they do step down a lot earlier, but Sofirn have pushed it a bit more, which I like. So that's the SK30, and on the left you've got the Convoy S8 with the SFT25R, and you can see the spill is brighter on the SK30. I mean, it's a lot more output, more than twice, perhaps about twice the output or more. Okay, much larger hotspot. That's the Sofirn, the Convoy S8 with SFT25R. Okay, and that's the Sofirn SK30 with the SFT70, so 70.2 I believe. So you can see just a ton of spill. It's a very practical beam, especially on the lower modes. Like something like that, it's going to be fine for a walking light as well. Do like that they've included those additional modes. Some people who want to, I guess, a more tactical sort of light prefer just having one mode in there and a hidden mode, but this is great. God, it's getting really hot. The head of the SK30 does come with the boost driver in there, but yeah, it's getting really hot when I keep activating that turbo mode. But I really like that you can just reactivate it in the first place. A lot of lights will just refuse to cooperate once it starts getting a bit hot. And actually they kind of err on the side of caution when they could actually push it a bit more, as you can see. And I'll just go for the, let's have a look here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's the high mode on the right for the SK30, and that's the 100% mode. Convoy S8, the SFT25R to the left. I'll step it down a little bit. That should be 30%. I mean, still very impressive throw for the SFT 70.2. It's a much larger die surface.